Before reading, gently close your eyes. Go deep into your heart and feel that I adopt an open and broad perspective at every step in life. Keep reading. A professor in Stanford University, California, during his lecture on entrepreneurship, divided the class into different teams and gave each team $5 in funding. The teams were given this goal to make as much money as possible within 2 hours and then give a 3-minute presentation before the class about what they achieved. Some of the teams used the $5 to buy startup materials for a makeshift car wash or lemonade stand, while a few bought lottery tickets or bet the $5 on red at the roulette wheel. But the teams that followed these typical paths tended to be last in the class. The teams that made the most money didn't use the $5 at all. They realized that the $5 was a distracting and essentially worthless resource. So, they ignored it. Instead, they went back to the fundamental principles and started from scratch. They reframed the problem more broadly as, what can we do to make money if we start with absolutely nothing? One particularly successful team ended up making reservations at popular local restaurants and then selling the reservation slots to those who wanted to skip the wait. These students generated an impressive few $100s in just 2 hours. But the team that made the most money approached the problem differently. They realized that both the $5 funding and the 2-hour period weren't the most valuable assets at their disposal. Rather, the most valuable resource was the 3-minute presentation time they had in front of a captivated Stanford class. They sold their 3 minutes time to a company interested in recruiting Stanford students and walked away with a solid sum of $650. The $5 challenge illustrates the difference between tactics and strategy. Although the terms are often used interchangeably, they refer to different concepts. A strategy is a plan for achieving an objective. Tactics, in contrast, are the specific actions or steps undertaken to implement the strategy. The Stanford students who failed the $5 challenge were fixated on a tactic, how to use the $5, and lost sight of the strategy. If we focus too closely on the tactic, we become dependent on it. Tactics without strategy, as Sun Tzu wrote in The Art of War, are the noise before defeat. Just because a $5 bill is in front of us doesn't mean it's the right tool for the job. Tools, as Neil Gaiman reminds us, can be the subtlest of traps. When we're blinded by tools, we stop seeing other possibilities in the peripheries. It's only when we zoom out and determine the broader strategy that we can walk away from a flawed tactic. Reflection. What is the $5 tactic in your life? How can you ignore it and find the 2-hour window? Or even better, how do you figure out the most valuable 3 minutes in your arsenal? Most troubles in our life also result from the fact that we become completely dependent on the resources which are directly available to us in front of our eyes. We are unable to develop the unlimited possibilities that are around us and the limitless potential present within us. If we allow our inner potentials to emerge through meditation, we will become so alert and aware that we can utilize all possibilities to the fullest.